Hello guys, and welcome to a new video today. Today is going to be something a little bit different. I'm going to teach you how to tie a woolly bugger, and this is a package that you can purchase from me now for £5.80. And the reason for this is because this is one of my most productive flies, and I want you to learn how to tie your own flies, because there's no greater feeling of catching a massive rainbow trout on a fly that you've tied. So this is a basic package. You'll be able to tie 3 flies from this, and you'll get 1 large olive marabou for the tail, and you'll get 3 hackles that go around the body of the fly, and a small packet of 3 chenille, that's the body, and you'll get 3 golden beads and 3 hooks, size 6 hooks in this package. So let's get into the video. Right, guys, so first of all, what we're going to do is grab your hook and the bead, and make sure when you look at the bead, put the small eyelet on the hook first, because that aligns the bead up to be fine. So second of all, what we're going to do is get our thread and start our wraps to make it nice and secure. So we just go along, few wraps to do this. I tend to go along to where it meets where the hook ends, in line with it, so about around there. And now we cut off the excess thread there. And just to zoom out a second, what we do now is get our marabou here and rip off a few of those fibres. It doesn't matter really where, so just make sure you get some nice fibres out, and then get those all nice and in line with each other. A good tip what to do here is to wet your fingers and just scrunch the end of that, so it makes it all nice and in line and makes it easier to tie. And then what we do here is a nice pinch wrap there, and tie that on here at the end and make that nice and secure. So that's the first step done. And now the second, take your thread to where the bead is and get that chenille and tie that in at this end. I tie it in at this end because it takes out any odd shaped body and it makes it all look nice and in one. So once we've done that, get to the end where in line with the hook where it ends again, and take your thread back to the start where the bead is, and just make sure none of your feathers, the marabou, get stuck in this, and just wrap the chenille round the fly as so, like that, to get a nice body, and just make it so it's all nice and filled by the bead, and then go over it again with the thread to make it all nice and secure, because we don't want any of that coming loose. And then just snip the chenille as so at the end, and then just go over one more time. So that's 2 steps done. Right, so this is what it should look like by the end of step 2. So now we're going on to step 3, and that is adding on our hackle. So what we do, go to not this end, the butt end there, because it's got a few nasty fibres there. So what we're going to do is go to the other end and then just strip back the feathers like so, so we get a nice tail end like that, and that is where we're going to tie it on where the bead is. So we do another pinch wrap, make sure you wiggle the thread so we get none of these hackles stuck. So it should look as such like that, and then what we're going to do now is snip off this excess there and do a few more wraps just to make that nice and secure, because we don't want that coming loose. And then what we do now is grab the far end and start wrapping it around that body, and this will give us that nice hackle look as so. And just do that nice and easy around the body as such, and pull the fibres out so you get a nice even wrap. Just keep pulling as so. And now what we do is get our thread and just wiggle it back towards that end so we can tie off this hackle as so there. And now what we do, now that we finished that, get our scissors and go in and just snip it off like that. So we've got a nice fly, and then counter wrap it by wiggling, because we don't want any of these hackles getting matted back down by this thread. And now what we do, now that we've got back to the end, a few more wraps, push these fibres back so we don't get anything stuck, like so. And now what we do, get our whip finish tool and simply whip finish it. Do one wrap and keep wiggling it because we don't want any fibres getting stuck. Back round as so, put it this side of the bead, whip finish like so there. And what we're going to do is snip off this thread. And because the tail's quite long, so what we got to do is naturally just hold it with your 2 fingers there, rip it, so we get a nice bushy tail. It makes it look nice and natural. And as we've done it, now the fly is finished. So let me take it off and get this vise out of the way. So let me zoom out a bit. So the finished fly is now complete, and that is our woolly bugger. It's not a very difficult fly to tie, so let's have a look at it. And I guarantee this will catch you loads of fish because of this hackle that's around the edges. Really attracts the fish, as well as this large golden bead at the front with the olive marabou at the back. So guys, thanks for watching. You can purchase these packs and they're for sale now for £5.80. I'll put the link in the description of where you can buy these, and they're only £5.80, so make sure you get there now. Thanks for watching.